And let's delete the V-Ray displacement modifier. Okay. And I'm gonna reset my material as well. I'm gonna clear the bump map. And I'm gonna change the texture. Okay, let's try a different texture. Let's try this one here. Right. So this is how it looks without any vrayfur. It looks flat, basic box. Not realistic at all. You could probably get some decent results with V-Ray displacement here, but I'm gonna do the vrayfur. Okay, so the displacement works well for carpets with short shag, short fibers. If you want some longer fibers, you want to use vrayfur or hair and fur modifier. Let's start with vrayfur. Okay, while you have your object selected, just press on the vrayfur button here in the Create tab, and it automatically creates the fur. I'm gonna start by reducing the length. Let's try it at 5 for now. Maybe let's try the thickness at 0.3. And let's see how that looks. Okay, as you can see, vrayfur by default comes without any material, and right now it renders in just purple. You can go ahead and assign your material to the fur as well, and it's gonna take the color from the starting point of the fibers. So right now it looks a bit better. Okay, so these thick fibers might work for a smaller rug, but for larger rugs it's probably useful to reduce the thickness a bit. Let's try rendering the small region here. Let's reduce the thickness to 0.1. Okay. As you can see, it's a bit sparse. There's a lot of empty space between the fibers, so you want to increase the density of them. You can do that by going to the distribution section and increasing the amount per area. Let's try to raise it gradually until we find the sweet spot. Okay, this might work, but it's still a bit too sparse. So let's try 1.5. It still renders pretty quickly, so we can increase it to maybe 2. Alright. Okay, this is a nice, interesting result. It's very simple to make. It renders pretty quickly. And you can use any material you like on the fur. Okay, but I'm going to show you another trick with vrayfur. I'm going to show you how to use the height map. You can use a black and white texture to define the higher and lower areas of this fur object. So for example, I'm gonna launch the Photoshop, open my texture, and I'm gonna create a black and white version from it. Just reduce the saturation. Maybe let's reduce the contrast a bit, like that. Okay, I think that's gonna be fine. Let's save it, rug 2, height. And you can use this black and white map here in the length map. Alright. Just set it up. You can already see the effect in action here in your viewport. If you scale up the length, you can see some of the fibers are longer, some of the shorter. Right, let's see how it looks. Let's set the length to 10 and see how it looks. And so the effect is not too noticeable. Let's try to increase the contrast a bit. Maybe let's invert it to make these lines appear lower. Okay, let's re-render. Right, that's a bit better. Now the effect is too strong. Let's bring up the lightness. Maybe like that. Maybe let's adjust with curves. Just bring up the center part. Alright. Now you have these patches of different length fur coming from the carpet. Let's make it a bit lighter. The short hairs are a bit too short. Right, let's save it. Let's make a different rug. For example, let's make the fibers much thicker. Let's try 0.3, 0.4. Let's reduce the gravity and bend. Let's make them almost straight. That's interesting. Let's increase the bend a bit more. And if you're using larger thickness values, you will notice that the strands look a bit weird. That's because by default they're using flat normals. If you disable that, re-render, you will see that it looks much different. It catches the light much more naturally. So keep that in mind if using thicker fibers. Alright, so let's increase the density slightly. Let's try 4. Maybe 8. And let's reduce the contrast a bit more. Alright. Maybe let's reduce the length to 6. Okay, and that's another different type of rug you have here. Let's render the whole thing. And you can see you can make some quick adjustments and get completely different results.